What's going on, folks? Ted from Immersion here, and there's another D&D survey. A lot of you folks let me know about this, so thank you to everyone who suggested that I do this time about Player's Handbook spells. Now that we're aware of what's going on with this whole 2024 revitalization, 5.5, whatever you want to call it, these surveys will likely impact whatever ends up in that updated version of the rules. So I'll say that up front and be mindful of what you put in there, because for right or wrong, or you know, overpowered, underpowered, whatever the concept may be, it will ultimately impact that. That's what this is for. Another thing I will say is go take it as soon as you see this video, because for some strange reason with my track record, whenever I make a video about a survey, it's almost immediately pulled down afterwards. I don't know why. I can't speak to that, to just what seems to happen. It may just be coincidence, but either way. So let's go ahead and pull it up right now. So here we are on the D&D website. We're going to click this. It does not tell us how long the survey is going to be. It says it's about 5th edition spells. We'll review a fraction of the D&D spells. You'll also have a chance to rate a few additional spells of your choice. Okay. Would you like to rate the material presented? Yes. Which was your 1st edition of D&D? I guess 3rd, technically. They're basically the same, but... okay. We interested in your feedback on spells. Okay, sure. How satisfied are you with the following spells? Okay, we're literally starting at the top of the alphabet and working down. Acid Splash. Oh boy, this is gonna be a long one, folks. We're 3% into this survey. I am slightly satisfied with Acid Splash, satisfied with Aid, and Alarm. I'm slightly satisfied with Alter Self, Animal Friendship, Animal Messenger. I'm not too familiar with. I know Animal Shapes is a spell that exists. I've just never had a chance to use it in play. Very satisfied with with Animate Objects, and satisfied with Anti-Life Shell. Let's see what happens now. Oh, we're just doing it, all of them. Okay, Anti-Magic Field. I really haven't used it. Same thing with Antipathy, Sympathy. I don't know. Arcane Eye, I'm very satisfied with. Arcane Gate, I am satisfied with. Arcane Lock, it's fine. That's a problem. Like, a lot of these are like, it's fine, I don't care. Like, am I satisfied in it if I'm like, it's fine? Or am I only slightly satisfied if I have that kind of a reaction? Satisfied with Armor of Agathis, slightly satisfied with Armor of Dar. Not really familiar with Astral Projection, haven't had a chance to use it. Slightly satisfied with Augury and Aura of Life. Oh, it's moving a % per thing we click. Oh boy. That was weird. It skipped some of them, like Aura of Purity, and there was a couple other spells they skipped over. Okay. Burning Hands, I'm satisfied with. Call Lightning, only slightly satisfied. Calm Emotions is fine. Chain Lightning, I'd say I'm very satisfied with. Charm Person, slightly satisfied. Chill Touch, very satisfied. Chromatic Orb, satisfied. Circle of Death. Actually, I'm slightly disappointed in the amount of damage it does. Circle of Power, slightly satisfied. Clairvoyance, not really familiar. I think a lot of folks may be using this column. Jeez. Clone. I know it, but I've never had a chance to use it. Cloud of Daggers is okay. Cloud Kill is okay. Color Spray. I'm slightly dissatisfied with Color Spray. Very satisfied with Command and Commune. Satisfied with Commune with Nature. Compelled Duel. Only slightly. Comprehend Languages, yes. Compulsion. Slightly dissatisfied. Oh, we jumped up 2 on that one. Okay, Cone of Cold, very satisfied. Confusion, slightly. Conjure Animals. I'm going to say slightly satisfied, because there's that whole nonsense of, like, the DM picks the animals versus they don't. Conjure Barrage is fine. Conjure Celestial, fine. Elemental, fine. All of these. Just going to be slightly satisfied. Contact Other Plane. I'm slightly dissatisfied with that spell. I'm just dissatisfied with it because it can make you go insane. Contagion, I'm also dissatisfied with because of all the confusion around it. Contingency is fine. Continual Flame is fine. Control all of these. Cordon of Arrows, these are all slightly satisfied. Counterspell, I'm very satisfied with. I know a lot of people aren't. Create food and water is fine, and create and destroy water is fine. Oh, did I skip some? I might have like double clicked or clicked fast and missed some. Delayed best fireball, satisfied. Demiplane, not really familiar with it. Destructive wave, I want to say very satisfied, but I'm really only satisfied with it. Very satisfied with detect magic. Fine. Very satisfied with dimension door. Satisfied with disguise self, and satisfied with disintegrate. Okay. Spell evil and good. Okay. Spell magic. I'm only satisfied with it because of its confusion that people have for it. Very satisfied. Dissonant whispers. Satisfied with divination. Divine favor. Divine word. Dominate beast. I guess the dominate spells are pretty solid. I can put those here. I'm actually not really familiar with using Drumage Instant Summon. Dream, I'm not really familiar with. Druidcraft, I'm satisfied. Earthquake, I'm slightly dissatisfied with Earthquake. It's kind of a pain. I guess I'm technically very satisfied with Eldritch Blast, but I could also see why people would say they're not, just because of the lack of viability. Dissatisfied with Elemental Weapon. I'm pretty sure it doesn't work on a magic weapon. I think it should. Enhance ability, same thing. Large reduce is okay. Snaring strike's okay. I like Entangled, and Enthrall is garbage. Okay, Etherealness. I don't know if I've ever actually used it, so I'm going to say I'm not really too familiar with that one. I am very satisfied with Evard's Black Tentacles. Satisfied with Expeditious Retreat. Okay, Fairy Fire, I'm very satisfied with that one. Featherfall. Featherfall's fine. Feeble Mind's fine. Okay. Oh my god, this is so boring. I don't even know if I want to film me doing all of this. Like, I know the part of it is like to see my reaction to these things, but it's just like I'm literally just checking boxes. Are people gonna watch? Find Familiar and Find Steed are obviously very satisfied. Find Traps, very dissatisfied. Worst spell in the game. Finger of Death is fine. Fireball is very satisfied. Very satisfied with Firebolt as well. Okay, and then satisfied with Fire Shield and Firestorm. Grasping Vine, not really too. Actually, I know about it. I'm going to say slightly satisfied. Same with Grease. Very satisfied with Greater Invisibility and Greater Restoration. Guardian of Faith, I'm satisfied with. Guards and Wards, slightly. Guidance, best spell in the game. I also very much like Guiding Bolt. Gust of Wind is only okay. Same with Hail of Thorns. Okay, we're already into the eyes, so I guess we're doing good. Imprisonment, not really familiar. Incendiary Cloud, slightly. Same thing with Inflict Wounds and Insect. Actually, I'm not super satisfied with Insect Plague. I'd say I'm very satisfied with Invisibility. Jump, only slightly. Knock is fine. Legend Lore, I'm okay with. Letting Win Secret Chest, never really used it. Tiny Hut, very satisfied. Non-detection, slightly satisfied. Initial Magic Aura, slightly satisfied. Freezing Sphere and the Resilience Sphere are all slight. Irresistible Dance. Pass Without a Trace is very satisfied. Same thing with Pass Wall, very good spells. Phantasmal Force, also. Phantasmal Killer, dissatisfied. Phantom Seed, satisfied. Okay. Planar Ally is fine. Planar Binding is fine. Plane Shift is fine. I'm dissatisfied with Poison Spray because just poison damage in general. And I'm only slightly satisfied with Polymorph. I don't love it. Same thing with the Power Word spells and Prayer Healing. Slightly satisfied with Raised Dead. Very satisfied with Rare's Telepathic Bond. Dissatisfied with Ray of Enfeeblement. Satisfied with Ray of Frost. Slightly I'll just say dissatisfied with Ray of Sickness. Slightly satisfied with Regenerate, Reincarnate, Remove Curse. I'm dissatisfied with Resistance and slightly satisfied with Resurrection. Swift Quiver, I'm honestly not even familiar with that spell. Sounds like that's a ranger only spell. Same with Symbol. Tasha's Hideous Laughter is fine. Telekinesis I like, because that's going up to the top. Telepathy, I'm not even familiar. I didn't even know that was a spell, Telepathy. Teleportation Circle, satisfied. Tensor's Floating Disc, slightly satisfied. Same thing with Thaumaturgy. Thorn Whip. Tsunami, I'm unfamiliar with. I made a whole video about that. Unseen Servant, I'm satisfied with. Vampiric Touch, slightly. Vicious Mockery, very. Wall of Fire, slightly. Wall of Force, very. Wall of Ice, slightly. These are all. And, yeah, okay. Slightly satisfied. Oh, boy. Oh, no. Now they're literally gonna ask me, have I cast the spells that I rated as a player, as a DM, or never used? Oh, man. This survey, dude, this is just so boring. Like, I'm not technically falling asleep taking this survey, but this is brutal. Like, I'm really debating just, like, stopping the video, doing all of these things, and, like, checking the boxes. Yes, as a player. Yes, as a DM. And then, like, just telling you guys the end result and say, here's what happens when it got to, like, the questions part of it. Yeah, this is a pain. Oh, and if you check one, it won't let you check another one, which I guess makes sense. Okay. Yeah, it's gonna go one at a time through each one of these. Alright. Yeah, I think what I'm gonna do is stop the video now. And continue to work through this ridiculously long list. And then when I'm done, and we get to, like, the actual, like, opinion-based questions where I can type something out, then I will, I'll give you guys, I'll go from there. So stay tuned. All right, so I just went through all of the other spells that they listed out, and then you'll get to this section in the survey that says, would you like to rate any more spells? So I had originally said yes, but I don't really have any specific spells that I want to rate, but I'll show you what happens. If you click next, it will then give you the opportunity to just put in whatever spell you want to put in, rate your satisfaction level of it, have you cast a spell as a player or not, and that's it. And it only lets you do this for up to 5 additional spells. So since that's all it is, and I don't even necessarily get an opportunity to type out anything more specific, I'm going to go back and I'm just going to say, no, I don't want to rate any more spells. Anything else we should know? You know, it's been a day since I started this thing, so I'm going to keep going. All right. Have I ever been a dungeon master? Yes, I have. In the past year, what percentage of your overall D&D playing has been spent DMing? It's actually less than it has been due to some player issues, but I'll say 75%. I feel like I change this every time I do a survey, but whatever. My age is 35. I'm identify as a man. That's it. That was the whole survey. So, you know, the cat's out of the bag. We know why they're doing these things. It's because of the reason we saw the original conversations around player handbook classes, player's handbook races, and now player's handbook spells is about updating these rules in some form or another for the updated 5.5, whatever the release is going to be in 2024. You know, I mean, spells were something I thought was handled relatively well in 5th edition. I mean, I'd love to hear your opinions, though. What are your thoughts on spells and spell casting? I know at the start, it was a very big division between, like, the concept of concentration and versus not having it. You know, so again, for those of you who don't know, in older editions, it was just not concentration. You could concentrate on spells, but it wasn't so limiting, I guess I'll say, in that, like, you could only have one at a time. You could do multiple different things. Again, in certain editions, it also led to boon stacking, which was basically, if you've ever played an MMO and you're going to go into an encounter, you're like, well, let me tick off these 4 or 5 upkeep abilities. I'll have them on when we roll into it, and I have all these boons now, and now I'm ready for the day. That was kind of like your morning in some instances, where you'd wake up and you'd be like, okay, I cast this spell, this spell, this spell, this spell. They're now applied to my character. Now we can roll out and go forth on the adventure. It's obviously not a thing, as most things in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition don't have very long durations. There are a handful of things, like, say, Death Ward, which are 8 hours non-concentration, so it's a thing you can apply and then forget about it. But I don't know. I'm curious what your thoughts are on the spells. I'd actually be more interested if they do another one of these surveys on something like equipment. Obviously, if we're talking just Player's Handbook, it's not really going to be magic equipment, but just like weapons, armor, things of that nature. Because I, like so many of other you, seem to think that that's an area that could use some complexity. And I fully respect and understand a lot of the decisions 5th edition made by grouping things and eliminating other things to make the overall experience a little more new, beginner friendly, a little more easy to understand. I mean, just on like a base level, talking about spells is enhanceability, right? That gives you 5 sub spells, right? Cat's Grace, Owl's Wisdom, whatever it is, and you pick which one you want to apply. In older editions, those spells were 5 separate spells. You had Owl's Wisdom was a spell, Cat's Grace was a spell, Bull's Strength was a spell. That's how they worked in older editions. They condensed them all into one spell called Enhanceability, and you choose an effect. That is a nice little condensing things down, making things easier to understand, and less options and things to keep track of. So I appreciate that. But I do feel like weapons and armor specifically over weapons, because we do have some variety in the different kinds of weapons that we have, but I still think that's a little limited. Armor specifically, there are very few types of armor, and I think that's an area where we could use a little complexity, change it up, give us a little more options here and there. Maybe do the whole add a buckler versus a tower shield versus the standard shield. I think I'm looking for that, but I'm curious again what your thoughts are. Leave them in the comments down below. So thank you everyone for sticking with me. This survey was kind of long and kind of boring, so let me know also what you think about me literally cutting away from me just going through and rating individual spells to jumping to the actual more interesting questions. I like to normally do these all the way through, but it was just like I was falling asleep clicking the things, so I can only imagine how it was for you guys watching that. Like I said at the start, I can't guarantee that by the time I post this video, the survey still exists, but it is what it is. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you at PAX Unplugged if you're going to be there next weekend. If not, you can catch me right here in a more frequent upload schedule for sure going forward. Thanks.